to creating a space for you, whether you're a man that did it or a woman that did it. I am committed to creating a space that will allow you to heal and allow you to live the life that you deserve, because you matter too. Okay, so with that, thank you again, Z. I love you with my entire heart. Tracy, we're gonna moonwalk again soon, because I'll be in Vegas again soon. Okay, now I am going to introduce to you all my phenomenal coach. Her name is Michelle Jewsbury. I call her Coach MJ. And Coach, between these braces and my limited education, I'm not going to be able to pronounce the word flamenterturist. Okay, so I'm just putting it out there right now. So with listen, Michelle does work all over the world, right? She created a non-for-profit for which I contribute to and will continue to contribute to, because it does help domestic violence survivors and victims all throughout the world, to include in Africa. And she's starting an organizational efforts here in the United States as well. Anyway, she's a speaker. She is a coach. She's a world traveler, and she's an advocate for the less fortunate. In August of 2016, Michelle focused her efforts on ending domestic violence. Her desire to help victims of domestic abuse came from personal experience in a domestic violence relationship. Excuse me, y'all. In July 2017, Michelle founded Unsilenced Voices, a 501c3 non-for-profit, as I mentioned earlier, focused on change in communities around the globe by encouraging victims to break free and survivors to speak up about domestic violence and sexual assault. She has since completed and published her personal memoir, which is But I Love Him. I got it, y'all. Y'all gotta get it. You can get it on her website on Amazon.com. Phenomenal book. The irony of that book in the last name and my last name. Anyway, okay, stay focused, Jamie. Michelle's recognized as a valuable resource in the speaking industry. Michelle Jewsbury is the go-to professional speaker who uses her story of survival as encouragement and motivation for others. By using the reflective techniques in her presentation, Michelle creates a aha moment, as she just shared with us she had while Z was speaking, that led to her transformation and transformation of others. Attendees leave inspired, revitalized, and ready to pursue her journey with a renewed focus, with a confident yet calming approach. And I can testify to this. Michelle is a testament of this very thing. She has a calming approach, and her story is long-lasting, and leaves a long-lasting impression, excuse me, y'all, on the audience, and gives her the power to take their lives back. And Michelle, like myself, we offer, Michelle is offering a free gift, and you can text to get her free gift the word UNITE, and that's UNITE at 26786. So without further ado, I present to you Michelle Jewsbury, AKA my coach, MJ. Take it away, Michelle.
Oh, I love you. Thank you so much, Jamie. First off, I want to thank you, right, Jamie, for putting together the summit, for allowing me to speak, for just being the light that you are for others. Because as you and I have discovered, there are people who are looking up to you for advice. And you are giving them that advice, and you are changing the planet. Jamie shared with me yesterday when we had our call before the summit that during the weekend, she had over 200 friend requests on Facebook. Well, there is no coincidence that that is happening. She is becoming an influencer. And first off, I want to thank you so much for allowing me to speak and for allowing me to coach you. And it really is an honor. And I'm so happy and proud of you. So you guys are probably wondering who I am. I know a handful of people don't know who the heck I am. So I am first going to talk a little bit about my story. And I'm also going to be talking about a couple programs that we offer, including private coaching. And typically coaching is $3,000. Today, only to this weekend, I'm speaking on this summit and another summit. I'm dropping that by $500, and January 1st it goes up to $5,000. So I really hope to encourage people to really take control of your life. Do something that you know you can do, that you have been kind of wish-washy about, and really take that next step for you, because it's so incredibly important, because the only person that can make a change, the only person that can do anything in your life is you. So take that change and take that leap of faith. And I'm also going to be talking about the masterclass, but more than any of that, it's going to be 5 steps. I'm going to be telling you 5 steps to help you overcome challenges. So let me back up. First, I want to talk about who I am and why I'm on the stage. So I was born in the 80s to 2 amazing parents. I know you can't see my environment right now, but I have pictures of my mom and my dad everywhere around me. My mom and my dad are no longer with us. And I lost my mother last year, and I lost my father 5 years ago. And what is so crazy is that you never know when that moment's going to come. They were, and they still are, my heroes. And I love my family so, so much. Growing up, my mom always taught my brother and I that we could rely on family, that my mom and my dad would always be there for us no matter what happens. And they were growing up. And my daddy was in the military, and we moved around a lot. My brother and I moved schools pretty much every couple years until I was about in 4th grade. And then I stayed for 3 years and then moved to Hawaii and then went back to Idaho. And that's another story. But we really moved a lot, and we learned how to make friends, and then how to leave friends, and how to remake friends. And we relied on each other. Well, growing up, I knew that I wanted something in life, and I was always like in the spotlight, always, either making jokes or, I excelled in school, National Honor Society, cheerleader, all of that. And I knew that I wanted something. Well, when I was 16 years old, I wanted a job. So my mom was in the restaurant industry, and she ended up training me in the restaurant industry, where I spent over 10 years of my life working as a hostess, and then server, and then manager, bartender. I even washed dishes in the back. I didn't really cook back then. I didn't know how to cook, so you didn't want me to cook. But I did work in pretty much all of the realms in the restaurant industry. And I loved it. I loved interacting with the customers. I loved learning about them and who they were and what drove them. But again, in my life, I was like, okay, well, I want something more. Being a person who works in the restaurant, there's nothing wrong with that. But I knew that I wanted more. And me liking the spotlight, I decided to pack up my Saturn at that time and drive my happy little butt from Idaho all the way to Hollywood, California to be a movie star. And I still live in LA. I love Los Angeles. But I wanted to be on the screen. One of my favorite actresses is Nicole Kidman. And in The Hours, she was so exquisite. I wanted to be just like her. So I ended up moving, and while I was in Hollywood, I was producing plays, I was starring in independent films, I was on my way to success. Well, I ended up meeting a guy, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, great physique, entrepreneur, everything that I thought that I wanted in my life. And he swept me off my feet. He courted me. He sent me flowers and gifts, and we went to ball games. And I say this a lot I know Z and Jamie have heard this, but I'm a huge Dodgers fan. And that was because of Paul. And go Dodgers, because we just won the World Series. But I thought that I fell head over heels for this man. And things were going well, and I was envisioning a wedding and marrying him and walking down the aisle, and what our children would look like. Well, about 4 months into that relationship, my head went through the wall. And I didn't understand that that was the beginning stages of a domestic violence relationship. I didn't comprehend that I was in danger. And I remember when that incident happened, I literally stepped forward and looked behind me and just saw the indentation in the wall. And all I thought to myself was, I have to patch this, not I have to run away. I ended up staying with Paul for roughly 4 years. During those 4 years, I endured psychological manipulation, physical violence, emotional abuse, and sexual abuse. There was one time in particular, and I don't typically share this, but I know I've got a couple extra minutes, in October of 2012, where he literally got so upset with me. He drugged me out of a nightclub by my arm, put me in the car, drove all the way home, and I was sitting there stoic, quiet, because I didn't want to trigger him, just like Z was talking about. We got home and he literally pulled me out of the car by my hair, threw me inside of our house, and then the onslaught began. And I was beat for almost 4 hours. And oftentimes people ask me, why did you stay with your abuser after he beat you for 4 hours? Well, there's a cycle in domestic violence. And the cycle goes from walking on eggshells to a big blow up to an apology stage. Well, that apology stage happened the next morning after I drifted in and out of consciousness. And Paul looked at me when I opened my eyes, and I was bloodied and black and blue. And he began to cry and sob, not just cry, sob, and began to ask me, please, please, Michelle, forgive me. I am so sorry for what I did. I promise I will never do it again. And this apology stage kept me trapped in an abusive relationship for 4 years. Well, when I finally escaped the abuse, I left and I sat in front of my computer, very similar to what I'm doing now, because everything is now digital, right? And I began to write and document things that happened. And that's when I discovered, oh my gosh, Michelle, you went through something horrific. When I read it back to myself, I didn't believe it was me that I was reading. That's when I had an aha moment. That's when I was like, oh, wow. And when I started to write, it first came out in a play. So I ended up writing and performing a 65-minute solo play about my experience in domestic violence. And it was very, very therapeutic at the time. I hated people saying it was therapeutic, but looking back, it was very therapeutic. I literally played myself and a variety of other characters, including my abuser, and beat myself up on stage. 65 minutes in front of a crowd. I remember the debut of the play was in February of 2016 at the Whitefire Solo Fest. And after I had completed the play, I didn't hear an applause. I didn't hear anything. You literally could hear a pin drop. And then the applause came. And then what happened next was miraculous. And people started coming up to me and thanking me for speaking up, thanking me for sharing my story of abuse and trauma and transforming that into hope for others, not just for myself. And that's when I knew I had to do more. Again, in my life, I decided I have to do something. I am called to do something bigger. How many of you out there are called to do something even bigger than you can even imagine? A lot of us. And sorry, I keep on inviting people. There we go. Accepting people into the platform. But I knew that I had to speak up. And from there, I ended up starting a nonprofit organization right behind me called Unsilenced Voices. We help survivors of domestic violence, sexual abuse, and human trafficking worldwide. We are in 3 countries, Ghana, Sierra Leone, and Rwanda. We're fiscal sponsors for 2 organizations, one in Nepal and one in the Netherlands. And we are expanding to the United States, and we're going to be doing an educational seminar about domestic violence, hopefully in 2021, maybe 2022. But this is my passion. And how many of you out there have a passion to create change, a passion to do something more in this world? Because our world is not going to work 9 to 5, getting off, taking care of our kids, cooking dinner, watching TV, and waking up the next day to do it all over again. We are meant for more. What is your more? It's so important to do that. Unsilenced Voices is my mission, my passion. And this is why I am so incredibly passionate about this. Because we as a society can create sustainable change to where we don't have to see injustices, to where we don't have to wake up and be in fear. We don't have to be victims anymore. You can be a victor. Well, from there, I ended up writing my first book that Jamie talked about called But I Love Him, which is very similar to my play. My play was about, I want to say 70% accurate. My book is 100. So it's my experience in an abusive relationship. And since then, I have spoken on stages all around the world. I was stuck in Egypt and Africa, the African continent, in March, trying to get back, to come back to the United States during this whole pandemic. I've been on over 41 different virtual summits since March, spoken on multiple stages prior to that, that led to where I am. And it's not about me, it's about how many people we can impact. And this is why it's so important. When I spoke to Jamie the first time, the only reason why I take on coaching clients is because they want to impact other people. They want to turn their pain into purpose. They want to turn their experiences into something more, something that can create wonder and magic in the world. And like I said, I'm so honored and humbled to be your coach, Jamie. But that's what we do. And it's so important to teach people how not to stay stuck in your circumstances. Well, that's a little bit about me and who I am, but really why I'm on this platform is to teach you, right? And I want to give you 5 steps to help you overcome challenges, whether it's trauma, depression, anxiety, especially right now. There are so many people. Suicide has gone up. Domestic violence has gone up. There are so many people suffering during this shutdown and suffering during this pandemic. So let's kind of jump in. So Henry Ford once said that obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off of your goals. Now, how do you keep your eyes on your goals right now so you don't allow the obstacles to inhibit you from growth? Well, when I went through my abusive relationship, there were multiple things that I didn't understand. And when I left, I developed a system of healing. And it was more subconscious, but because of that, this system has worked for so many people to help them break through their challenges. Well, what I want to do is jump right into the first step in the 5-step process. And again, take out a pen and a notepad so you can take notes, so you can really look back on how you can overcome. So the first step in overcoming obstacles is recognizing. You first have to recognize what it is that you're going through. So when I was with Paul, there were multiple times where there was physical violence, emotional abuse. I didn't recognize what I was going through. I didn't understand it. I didn't accept it. I didn't see it for what it was. Oftentimes people will go through their lives and not recognize the obstacle. So this first step is the very same step in any 12-step process, whether you're go to AA, NA, any of these anonymous classes or groups. You first have to recognize and understand the addiction. Well, for me, Paul was my addiction. And I didn't understand how detrimental it was to my health to stay with Paul. When I started to recognize it, I told you I started to write, and then I had an aha moment where I read it back to myself and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that this was me. Well, when I recognized, then I was able to heal, because you have to feel in order to heal. And if you don't see what it is that you're going through, you can't feel through that pain. When I first started to see it, then I started to let go a lot of the anger, a lot of the resentment, the grudge that I held. And when I really saw it for what it was, just like Z and Jamie said, hurt people hurt people. And I knew that Paul was hurting, and that Paul just needed to overcome his challenges and needed to reach out. And that's what I did when I first started to accept what I was going through. Was I reached out. I reached out to therapists. I reached out to other people who I knew that could help me. So first, you have to recognize what you're going through. And that is very, very difficult to do. The first step is the hardest step in this 5-step system. And like Jamie said earlier, I'm gifting out the 5 steps in a PDF so it's easy to follow. And all you have to do is text the word UNITE to 26786. Well, after you recognize what it is that you go through, the next step is how you start to heal. The next step is thoughts. Henry Ford once said, whatever you think you can or you can't, you're right. What that means is if you wake up and you think that you cannot overcome, if you think that you are going to be stuck in your circumstances, if you think that you can't escape, if you think that we're going to be stuck in 2020 forever and it's going to be on repeat, then your life is going to look like that. You create an existence by thinking a certain way. Well, if you wake up and you think, I've got this, I can create a plan, I can innovate, I can make my business and my dreams come true, and I can have even more success in my life, no matter what the world is doing to me right now, then you will, because you call the universe into that. You create these amazing experiences and create an amazing life, an even better life that you live, all based on your thoughts. When I was a cheerleader, which was many years ago now, 20 something years ago, but when I was a cheerleader, I remember I was working on this one particular skill. And I know a couple of you guys have heard this story, but then some of you didn't. So I'm going to tell it again because it's an amazing story. I was working on the skill. It was a double toe touch standing back tuck. And I was living in Hawaii at the time, and a derogatory name for me was a haole girl. You know, if you're from Hawaii, you understand what that means, haole. It was negative. It was foreigner, white girl. So I was teased. And when we were, our team, when we were at one of the basketball games, there was other people, other girls from the other team laughing at me and mocking me when I was trying to do this skill. Haole girl can't do that. What do you think you're doing? Why are you on this team? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I got out there because my coach told me that I had to. And I threw the double toe touch and threw the back tuck and landed on my face. Ha, 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 I told you you couldn't do it. Laugh, laugh, laugh. Started thinking, oh my gosh, maybe they're right. I can't do this. My coach, do it again, Michelle, do it again. Coach Co was awesome. So if you are listening, Coach Co, you were awesome, don't worry. So I did it again, I threw it again, and I landed on my face again. Ha ha, haole girl can't do this. Okay, fine. Started thinking to myself, I don't care what they think. They don't live my life. I can do this. I've got this. I started to think to myself, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this, over and over and over again. My coach said, throw it again, Michelle. I threw it again, and I landed on my feet. And it was all because I changed the way I was thinking. I didn't allow other people, like the girls at the other team, didn't allow what they were saying to interfere with my thinking, to interfere with how I perform in my life. I didn't listen to Joe Schmo down the street, or my Aunt Sally, or my cousin, or my brothers, or my mothers, or my friends who didn't believe in me. I didn't listen to them. I didn't allow their unwarranted advice to come into my mind and destroy my thinking. I still decided to think positive. So you first have to be able to think past what other people say, because what they say doesn't matter. And anybody who discredits you or anybody who puts you down, you don't want their lives anyway. So why would you listen to what they say and allow them to destroy your thinking? So destroy those limiting beliefs. Elevate your thoughts and think every single day that you've got this, that you are an overcomer, you are an overachiever, that you can have everything that you want. And it's all about your thinking. Okay, that was first step. Second step. Let's jump into the third step, because I know that I am taking a long time. Jamie, I talked to you about this before. Now I speak so much. When I first was on stage, I couldn't talk for 20 minutes, and I still have 25 more minutes to go, and I'm almost out of time. So I'm going to speed up just a little bit. But we teach you all of this stuff in the Breakthrough Masterclass, and that's why it's so important to invest in yourself and to enroll. Okay, first step, recognize. Second step, thoughts. Third step, feelings. So we're going from our head to our heart. Now, how do we transition? How do we overcome challenges by feeling? You first heard me say you have to feel in order to heal earlier on in my conversation. And it's so true. You have to learn to express your emotions, to actually feel, to speak up about what's going on inside. So there's something called adverse childhood experiences. And Z, I see you shaking your head because you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't express the trauma that you've experienced, whether it was as a child, young adult, adolescence, whatever it is, it comes out in physical and or emotional ailments as an adult. And this is why we see chronic fatigue and depression and anxiety, autoimmune disorders, headaches, pain. This is where that comes from, because our body will still feel the emotional effect of everything we've gone through, even if we decide that we're not going to address it. So when you learn to express yourselves, you then can feel through the pain in order to heal. We don't want autoimmune disorders and stress and fatigue and pain to overcome us. So in order to do that, you have to speak up. And whether it is writing therapy, which I teach all the time, pick up a pen, a piece of paper. This isn't a paper, this is a pen. And then write on a piece of paper and just write out your feelings. Nobody has to read it. It could come out in sentences. It could come out in a play. It could be not make any sense whatsoever. Nobody has to read it. You just have to get it out. So you could write, I need groceries. I got a spinach, and then be like, oh, I hurt. My heart hurts. He hurt me. Why did that happen? It doesn't have to make any sense, but you have to get it out. You can feel through the pain. I remember when my mom died, and that was a very huge moment in my life. And I knew, based on what we teach, that I had to feel through that pain of losing my loved one in order for me to recover and not be trapped and not be caught up in my mama's gone, my mama's gone, my mama's gone. And I thought to myself, what would my mommy want? And she would want me to express myself so I could move forward, so I could help other people. And that's exactly what I did. I felt through my pain in order to create hope and purpose in my life and the lives of those people around me. So first step was recognize, and then thoughts, and then feelings. The next step, the fourth step in the 5-step process, is words. So both Jamie and Z have talked about words and how powerful your words are. Z said earlier, oftentimes people growing up, children, would say, sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Words will never hurt me. But they do. And words have longer lasting implications than that of any type of physical violence or emotional abuse. Words. And you have to be cautious of what you speak, because what you speak, you will speak into existence. So when you speak out loud that you're not gonna achieve, you're not gonna be able to create the life that you've always wanted, that you can't break through your challenges, then you won't be able to. But if you use positive words, positive power words is what I like to call them. The I can, I will, I am powerful, I am successful, I am an overachiever, I can overcome these challenges, then they will happen for you. Words are so incredibly important. What you put into your mind will come out of your mouth. So in order to say positive things, to think positive, to speak positive, you have to put in positive material. So being on amazing summits and podcasts like what Jamie has created in the Hope Summit, reading amazing books from John Maxwell, Napoleon Hill, George Chanos, one of my friends, dear friends, but amazing author. Listening to audiobooks, listening to podcasts while you drive, putting in material that is going to elevate you instead of put you down. Don't listen to what Joe Schmo and Aunt Nancy are saying or doing, because when you do, then your words start to change. You know, I go home every year and I'm from North Idaho. And in North Idaho, years and years ago, it was known as a very racist state. And oftentimes when I was around certain family members, they would say things that they didn't realize were negative. I chose not to listen to them. I chose not to listen to them because I didn't want those words to come out of my mouth, because those words actually hurt people. The words that you say will hurt people. You can either use your words for good or for evil. And I chose to use my words for good. And you can choose to use your words for good as well. You choose what you think. You choose what you speak. Speak positive. I remember when I was coaching Jamie, and she had some iffy feelings around money. She didn't understand that she is worth millions and millions of dollars. But you are, Jamie, and so are you at home. But in order to change that, we started to change the thinking and the words that came out of her mouth. I am, right? I am words. I am wealthy. I have a whole list right here, by the way. I'm not going to read them all. I am wealthy. Today is a money day. I am open to receiving. I am prosperous. I have unlimited abundance. I deserve. I expect. All the money I am seeking is seeking me now. And it's all I am. Positive power words based around money, based around success and moving forward. So put positive words all around you. Post-its. I can do this. Write on lipstick on your mirror. That's what I did. I wrote on lipstick years ago. I've got this. You know, I was in Amway for a long period of time. I know some of you guys know what Amway is. And I used to listen to the leaders, and I used to write, I can become a diamond. Well, I didn't become a diamond in the business, but I became a diamond. And it's all because of the words that I decided to put around me. Well, okay, so first step, right? Recognize, and then thoughts, and then feelings, and then words. And we teach you all of this in the Breakthrough Masterclass, and we go over this also with coaching. But there's one last step. That last step is action. How do you take those action steps? I have a handful of clients who come to me and they're depressed and scared. A lot of people are scared right now. We don't know how long this pandemic is going to last. We don't know how we're going to pay our bills. We've lost our jobs, maybe lost our homes. People are scared. Well, how do you break through being scared and actually learn to innovate and elevate and think of new ideas and think of other ways and avenues to create financial freedom and success, even right now? Well, the first one is you have to take care of yourself, like Jamie was talking about. You really have to look at yourself and invest in yourself, like Jamie said. You have to go outside, go out on walks. I don't care if it's snowing or if it's raining, take an umbrella. It's all your perspective. If you go outside and it's raining and you think, what a crappy day, then it's going to be a crappy day. But oftentimes you can go outside with an umbrella and say, you know what, it's beautiful and I love the smell of rain. Go outside and go for a walk. Breathe in the fresh air. Listen to positive things like we talked about earlier. Exercise. I'm not saying go run a dang marathon, you guys, but get outside and exercise. Read, sleep, eat well. There is a lot more in the PDF that you can get for free by just texting UNITE to 26786. There's a whole list of things that you can do. But the main thing is look after you, because the only person that can make a difference in your life is you. Now, we teach you all of this stuff in the Breakthrough Masterclass and also with coaching. The Breakthrough Masterclass is $500, $497, right? And coaching, like I said, I'm knocking $500 off until the end of the year. Coaching changes people's lives. I love coaching. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I have amazing clients like Jamie who want to make a difference in the world, who are making a difference in the world. I'm so proud of you. So 5 steps just to get clear again. First, recognize thoughts, feelings, words, and then action steps, right? Well, before we jump into what you get with the Breakthrough Masterclass, I want to talk a little bit about my why, about why I do what I do. Now, oftentimes people go through crap and they decide not to turn their pain into purpose. They barely can overcome their own pain. And that's okay. You're not at fault for that by any means. However, you are meant to do more. I wake up every day and I look at photos of my family. My brother was a meth addict for years and years. I want to say 20 years. He has now been sober for over 100 days. That wasn't a coincidence. That wasn't by happenstance. That happened through intention. He is my why. He is part of my why. I wake up every day and I text my brother. I reach out to my brother. You never know how long people will last. Reach out to those people that you love. What is your why? Who is your why? I love to travel. Right now, I can't really travel internationally, but I can still take road trips. So can you. You can take road trips if you love to travel. Don't sit back and bitch and moan that you can't go. Get in your car. You can go somewhere. I love animals. When I was in Africa, I was able to go on safari after volunteering my time. And I got to see elephants, lots and lots of elephants, and got to see them walk and move together in a herd. An elephant is my spirit animal. If there is such a thing as reincarnation, I would love to come back as an elephant. They're amazing creatures. I love the environment. I despise people who use so much plastic and styrofoam and disregard the environment, because this is our world. We only have one of them, one world that we live on, one planet. What is your why? It is so important to get clear on that, because if you put your why in front of your face every day, if you wake up like Z has her daughter on here, she wakes up every day and thinks about her family, thinks about her daughter, how she is going to influence, impact. She wakes up knowing that she wants to make a difference so her daughter can grow up in a world where she is not scared to speak up. What is your why? Why do you do what you do every single day? Well, transitioning out of that, I'm gonna say a poem. It's not a poem. It's a inauguration speech from Nelson Mandela. I'm actually working on memorizing this, but I don't have it memorized yet, so I'm going to read it off of my phone. This speech impacted me so much that I knew I had to wake up and complete my why every day. Nelson Mandela in 1994 said this: "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us most of all. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that you can make other people feel less insecure. We are born to manifest the power and glory of God that is within us. It's not in some of us. It is in all of us. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give permission to the people around us to let their light shine as well. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So profound. I see a couple people, yeah, it is. It is so incredibly profound. Why do you wake up every day? Have that in front of your face, because only you can make change. Well, I know I only have a couple of minutes left, so I want to tell you a little bit about what you get in the Breakthrough Masterclass. And if you are interested in enrolling and taking that next step forward, contact me. In the Breakthrough Masterclass, we cover 3 main topics: conquering your barriers, elevating your perspective, and then we dive into the transformation process. That transformation process is what helps you create even more success in your personal and your professional life. I have a frog in my throat, excuse me. You get homework. Now, Jamie can attest, I give a lot of homework. You get a lot of homework. And homework is designed to help you really see where you're at so you can elevate to where you want to be. You get me one-on-one through text. You also get enrolled in our global Facebook community where you can have advice, get advice from so many different people like Angel Tussey and Bill Walsh and Melanie McSally and Jamie Wright. But really, the main thing that you get is you learn to accept amazing results in your life. You learn to have even more time with your friends and your family because we help you with time management. You learn to live the life that you've always wanted to live, all based on elevating and changing your thought process and how you feel and using positive words. In week 8 of the Breakthrough Masterclass, we talk a lot about adverse childhood experiences. In week 8, you get a one-on-one call with me in order to help you overcome some of those things. A lot of our clients in week 8 really start to feel their heartstrings and really start to understand that, wow, when this happened to me when I was 5, it has greatly impacted my life now when I'm 35. So we help you to overcome a lot of those challenges. Now, the Breakthrough Masterclass, like I said, it's $497. And if you are interested in private coaching, right now, Jamie can attest to this. She paid $3,000. Right now, till the end of the year, it's $2,500. And it's for 12 weeks of intense coaching. And we help you to turn your pain into purpose. So I know I've gone over a few minutes. I know we had an extra couple of minutes, but that's what you get with me. And that's what you get with the Breakthrough Masterclass. Also private coaching. If you are interested, Jamie just wrote my website in the Zoom chat. If you're watching on Facebook and you're interested, you can contact me at admin@michellejewsbury.com. You can also go to michellejewsbury.com. I am doing consultations right now, complimentary consultations and coaching sessions up to 20 minutes. So if you text the word consultation to 26786, again, it's the word consultation to 26786, you'll get my calendar and you can book an appointment there. So thank you so much, Jamie. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak on your summit. I am so honored and I'm so incredibly proud of you.
Thank you, Michelle. Listen, you all, I don't even know what else I can say other than y'all see why I invested in myself and hired this amazing woman. Michelle, I'm grateful again. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you. Reach out to her, you all. For me, investing in myself by hiring her as a coach has been just amazing. I would highly recommend anyone that's looking to elevate, to grow, to shift their pain shift their pain into purpose. Reach out to Michelle today. You will not be disappointed. So thank you again, Michelle.
Thank you so much, Jamie. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, and you are the perfect client. My mentor, Bill Walsh, asks me, what is your ideal client? And Jamie Wright is my ideal client.